I sit at a table at the University of Minnesota's Kirtland Library. I traveled here with a group of writing project teachers. From a list of over 1,500 children's book authors and illustrators whose original works are included in the Kirtland collection, each teacher chose one to research. I picked Walter Dean Myers, author of more than 85 books for children and teens. As I stare at several gray boxes filled with research material, I wonder, what path did Myers take to becoming a writer? What path does any writer take? We were asked to wear white gloves while holding the special documents so as not to transfer any oil or dirt from our hands. I pull on my white gloves and reach for the first box. I look at Walter Dean Myers' corrected typescripts for his memoir, Bad Boy. Walter describes how he was a big, strong kid, always ready for a fight, and having a bad reputation with his teachers. He loved to read, though, and would hide his library books in brown paper bags in order to avoid teasing from the other boys. I begin to think back on my own journey and how I, too, always felt a kinship with books. It's fitting that my research takes place in a library, because if you had asked me when I was a kid what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wouldn't have hesitated in answering a librarian. When I was 2, my dad would take me to the library at Michigan Tech. A giant, rotating, light-up globe demanded my attention, and I stared at it in awe as my father worked on his research. This is one of my earliest childhood memories, and it instilled in me that lifelong love of libraries. My favorite TV show back in the early 70s was Sesame Street. I like to say, "Cookie Monster," in my deepest 2-year-old growl.
Wilhelmina likes to whistle and wiggle.
I surprised my mom when we drove past the hardware store and I pointed out the letter W. "W, Mom, that's a W." It was my first step in learning how to read. My favorite book as a toddler was Who Wants a Pop Can Park? I mused at how naughty those kids must be to throw down their empty cans in the grass, and I laughed every time we reached the page where the police officer slips on a discarded banana peel. A message inside the front cover asks parents and teachers to help little children learn about pollution. How difficult it is to avoid creating a scolding, complaining type of educational experience, it says. There's little evidence to support that that style of teaching to youngsters produces results. My parents didn't teach that way. They brought out the wonderment of learning. One day when I was 4, I was in bed recovering from the flu. To pass time, I begged my mom to teach me how to read. She wrote out sentences from the Sally, Dick, and Jane books and asked me to sound out the words. I mustered up all my Sesame Street knowledge, and the shapely letters strung together began to form patterns and match with sounds and form words. See, spot, run. I had read my first sentence. I built my dreams upon the first day of kindergarten, a magical destination akin to Oz. My red, white, and blue patchwork dress blended in with the colors of the classroom as I smiled up to my tearful mother's camera. Then Mom left me with a teacher, an elderly lady with jet black hair and cat-eye glasses, who had just pounced on my mom for teaching me to read. The teacher said she would have to undo a lot of damage. The brightness and wonder of the classroom faded throughout the school year as the teacher dragged scurrying students to the front of the classroom for disciplinary action. My turn came after I kicked a boy who bit me at recess. The teacher stood me in front of the other students and grabbed me by the shoulders. The room blurred as my head bobbled. I heard my classmates squeaking with muffled laughter as she tried to shake sense into me. I wanted to crawl into a hole. Learning took a different form at school than it did at home. First grade led to my acquaintance with the friendly school principal. I enjoyed his company, but felt embarrassed frequenting his office. We had a combined first and second grade classroom that year, and I always took the handouts meant for the second graders. It seemed I just couldn't follow directions. I remember the students in class watching a Mickey Mouse film strip, and I had to sit in the hall because I had messed up again. With the nickname Bookworm, a book in my hand was as much a part of my wardrobe as the socks on my feet. My second home became the township library. In fourth grade, I discovered Judy Blume's Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, about Peter Hatcher and his pesky little brother Fudge. I knew all about those annoying yet lovable little brothers. I also liked reading about girls who had it all. Nancy Drew was the epitome of that. She was confident, smart, and adventurous, and she had a college boyfriend. I wanted to be just like her. In 5th grade, my friend and I would stay up all night to see who could read a Nancy Drew book from yellow cover to yellow cover the fastest. In 8th grade, my family moved, and I found a comfortable new place to lounge and read, the claw-footed bathtub at the library. While soaking up literature in the tub, I read my way through the librarian's provided list of recommended classics. Walter Dean Myers recalls getting in serious trouble in high school and sitting in the principal's office. His English teacher walked by and said, "Whatever you do, don't stop writing." This was a pivotal moment that stuck with him through the years and eventually led to his becoming a professional writer. I had one of those moments too, when a teacher unknowingly influenced the path my life would take. On one of my papers, my 10th grade English teacher scrawled in red ink, "You have a flair for words." I had always been a reader, but had never thought of myself as a writer. You have a flair for words. My identity was forever changed. I agree with Walter Dean Myers that each of us is born with a history already in place. We have our physical traits, our parents, and the communities where we were born. We also have literature that can lead us to unexpected places, intriguing us to take a closer look at the world around us. I'm grateful that my journey has involved a never-ending supply of books. I like that wherever my path leads me, it always seems to circle back to my childhood memories.